All right, Jesse on fire. What's up, you guys? So this is kind of a new thing that I'm doing right now because obviously this is only like it's ancillarily connected to combat sports because Steve-O is kind of connected to combat sports as a fan, but nonetheless, I've talked a bunch on this channel about people struggling with addiction, and I have such an overwhelming response every time that I talk about this topic that I figured I would just go live and talk about what's going on here. This is not just about addiction either. Apparently he was very recently hospitalized and was on a ventilator for pneumonia or something. So, but yeah, Steve-O went public, said he's dying. I'll talk about it in a second. Because like I said, I just give my people what they want. And every time I've talked about this topic, I get a huge response. Update on my channel. We're good, dude. We're fine. The Jesse on everything. And but yeah, we're good. But there is, there's other Jesse on everything is not dead. It's dead on this platform. So, rhymes with Bumble. No spaces. That's one thing about that platform is you can't really find things very well. So do the channel name, but don't put any spaces, Jesse on everything, no spaces. Yeah, main channel's safe, dude. I mean, yeah, we're fine. So here's the other thing. So a week from Saturday, okay, I told you guys a couple weeks ago about Thrive Fantasy. So Thrive Fantasy is a daily fantasy site, and they are putting a branded UFC 280. What's the next UFC? Like 280, 285? Is that what it is? 284? Anyway, what is it? Is it 285 or 284? That's crazy that I can't remember that, but I honestly don't remember. Oh, not 285. What am I talking about? Yeah, so for 284, next week, they're doing like a Jesse on Fire branded contest that only my viewers can join. And so we'll be competing against each other, right? So you're going to make your picks. It's one contest. It's only us. It's going to be it's like I told them to make it a maximum of 50 to 100 people max, which will probably be less than that, honestly. But yeah, and so during the event, I'm going to live stream and I'll be calling out people who are in first place, second place, and talking about what picks they made, etc. And then whoever wins the contest gets to come and join my next live stream if they want. And also, I'm going to buy you something. I haven't decided what yet, but there'll be something else. But anyway, there's a link in the description. So if you go join Thrive. I think they're actually doing a 200% deposit bonus right now. So if you deposit up to $100, they'll double it. So, or not, they'll triple it. So it's like, if you put in $50, they'll give you $150. If you put in 10, they'll give you 30. If you put in 100, they'll give you 300. They max out at 100, but so get on that, make a deposit super quick while they're still doing that. And this, our contest is not going to be expensive. It's going to, maximum it would be like $10 or something. And the win, and that money just goes to whoever wins. It doesn't go to me or anything. So anyway, let's but yeah, so let's go ahead and why would I not say what's up to South Africa? Okay. So basically, let me show you guys this story because this is really This is actually like I read this and it was really kind of sad, you know. This is something I mean I've seen this exact thing so many times that you know, it's like I saw and I read Steve-O's thing and it's just so it's the kind of thing that's so frustrating, man. Where hang on, what's a good one? Let's do oh wait here, let me show you guys what we're looking at. Um whatever, this one's fine. All right. So basically, I mean, obviously, like the guys, you know, like, hey man, you need to get sober post is not anything groundbreaking, but when you actually read this one, it's like, dude, just because like I don't know, like I feel like people always think that if a person I don't know that like you know if they're like a raging addict and they're like, well, if I had a reason to get sober, I could get sober. You know what I mean? Where it's like Bam Margera is like the quintessential example of for some people it doesn't matter. Like it literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if someone's like, dude, we'll give you $10 million to get sober and stay sober for 4 months. Like I assume everyone assumes that they could do that, right? Like if they're, you know, they're like kind of no matter how deep an addiction you were, you would think that if someone was like $10 million, get sober, stay sober for 6 months, anyone could do it, right? No, not, I mean, anyone could do it, you know, if forced to or whatever, but Steve-O is in that exact, I'm sorry, Bam Margera's in that exact situation with the last Jackass movie, millions and millions of dollars. And all he had to do was just stay sober while they filmed and he couldn't do it. And they had to kick him off of the thing, dude. Like kick him off the production. And then now, so I'm just going to read you this post actually that he did because it's like it says it all right here. So Steve-O says this, Bam, last night you had your 5-year-old son with you on stage at my show and you were blessed with the chance to spend another day or two with him. Then as soon as you left my show, you stayed up all night getting loaded enough to think it was a good idea to post more vile nonsense like this. I hope you understand how awful that is. You say you want to have a relationship with your son, but your actions guarantee the exact opposite will happen. I brought you on tour with me in hopes that I could get you to see what's possible for you if you chose recovery. I've tried everything I can, but I can't force you to get honest and do the work of recovery. I wish you could know how much I've hated feeling braced for news of your death, but you're making it clear and I have no other choice. You're dying, brother, and it sucks that I can't do anything to save you. Dude, so like that's what I'm saying is like so first of all on the first one, you know, on the Jackass one, millions of dollars. Millions and millions of dollars. And he has no money. You know, he has no money. Like Bam Margera has no money. He spent all of his dough. He has no money. Millions of dollars. Just stay sober. Couldn't do it. And then now, you know, let me see what Bam posted that led to this. Oh wait. It opened in a new oh wait. Okay. So let's see. Wait. Oh, it was on Instagram? Ugh. Well, what did Bam? Wait, is this one arm is a best friend? One arm is a best friend who had my back all along. Another arm is a poser, a procreation thief. If Jeff Tremaine was in this photo, he would be too greedy to fit. F Jeff. Remember I tattooed that on me long ago, Jeff. It's because I knew who you were all along. Steve-O, much love and respect. So like he posted that super late at night, blacked out, and then Steve-O responded with that. Dude. Thomas, thank you very much for the $20. Very generous. Thank you. Jesse, I told you before, dude, there's something like I see what's going on, dude. Dude, my screen, I had my screen so dark. That's why I couldn't read. I was like, what the, and I also have these windows too small. Let me make this bigger so I can actually read what you guys send me. And I don't look like a bumbling, illiterate imbecile. Dude, why won't it grab this thing? There we go. Okay. Jesse, like I told you before, you and I have similar lives. I was up to 8 Roxy 30s a day until I was put away for a while in a rehab. That was March 17th, 2012, St. Patrick's Day. This topic always makes me grateful. Well, congratulations on, I assume that means no more after that. And congratulations on that. It's like people just don't really understand. They don't understand like what a prison that is. Like, it's like I mean, there's no other way to describe it. It's like being in prison because, you know, if you've ever gone through quitting that shit cold turkey and understand, I mean, it's like volunteering for, it's like volunteering for being tortured by a cartel. That's what I always try to compare it to. Because I'm trying to think of anything that like a person who's never gone through it could understand, because they can't. Like, how could they understand? You know what I mean? You're like, just think of what's the most sick you've ever been in your entire life. How bad did you feel? They're like, bad. But if you were like, but you could like tolerate it, right? It's like, yeah, you're all okay. Well, imagine if it was 20 times worse. You know, there's just no way to describe it. There's no way to describe how uncomfortable and horrendously painful it is. But and you know, because basically it just, I mean, that's the whole thing with this issue is it's not, people think of it as this one big macro decision, you know, because it's enveloped your whole life. It's actually a series of tiny decisions. It's like, okay, I could do this right now. Like, I know if I just quit these things, regardless of what the next 4 days feel like, next week I'll be on it. Like, my life will be back and let's do it. But it's like, but you have to commit you got to commit all the way in for the pain, the worst pain you've ever felt in your life for the next 4 days. Can you do it? And it's like, not today. You know, I would rather just take more pills today, because I don't feel like doing that right now, you know. But yeah, I mean, dude, that's got to be so rough for Steve-O, dude. Like, he's so long sober. He's so long sober that he probably doesn't even remember very well what it was like to be or maybe he does. I don't know. But bottom line is, like he said, he's like, I brought you on tour so you could see what would be on the other side of sobriety for you. And it's just like, I can't get anything through to you. I can't get anything through to you. And here, you know, one thing that I did hear Bam talk about in one of those episodes that was I wanted to comment on this real quick. I didn't sleep for 3 weeks and I got clean. Absolutely 100% aligned on that, dude. That's the thing that's like the second hurdle. The first hurdle is getting through where you're sick, right? Where you're just dying sick. For me, it was always, you could set a clock to it, dude. It was like, if I went cold turkey, I would be fine that whole day. Like, so if I went cold turkey, like say, like I took the last one at like 11 p.m. one night, the next day I wouldn't take any. I'd be totally fine. I'd go to sleep. I'd be totally fine. I would sleep totally fine. And then around 2 p.m. the next day, I would get sick. And then I'd be sick for, horrendously sick the first day. Then the second day is way worse. I mean, the first day is the worst thing you've ever felt in your entire life, where you can't even imagine that anything could ever be worse. And then the second day is much worse. And then the third day, it lightens up a little bit. And then it, like, for me, it just shut off like a light. Like, it was just like, it was like, oh, I still kind of feel it coming in waves. And then boom, it's just done. Like, it's just done. And I'm like, whew. I don't know, you know, I'm wired kind of different, but as soon as it would be over for me, I was ready to I was ready to go run 50 miles, you know, like I would go outside and I would just like, I would put on headphones. Cause like all my emotions that had been just drowned for, you know, however long I had been doing it would come rushing back all at once, dude. And like one of the main things that it blocked for me is like this, you know, like this thing that lives in me. That's like whatever, you know, whatever is the driver behind the on fire portion of me is that just got completely suffocated by those things. And then when I, like the second I was off, it's like it came roaring back and I was like, oh. And I would always be like, dude, I forgot who I was. That's the only thing I could describe it as, is like, I literally forgot who I was. I'm not that person. I don't even recognize that person. And I would listen to music and I would just be like, I would just think about all the things I was going to do. And then I would go do them, you know, but like, but to your point about the sleep, then you like the first hurdle is the sick part. Then the second hurdle is the sleep, dude. Cause like, there's just and I won't take like, you know, I'm not going to start taking like some other like thing to make me sleep. Cause like even like doctors say to do that, all, you know, just start taking Klonopin. I'm like, no, the whole point is to not take pills. I'm not going to take a pill to help me sleep because I still am, you know, my biorhythm's all messed up from taking, like, I'm not going to do that. And so I would just literally, you just like awake all night long, literally all night long for weeks. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And like, and I would always be so, you know, like ready to, cause like I'd immediately go back to the gym. Like I would just be like a gym maniac. And so I would just wait until it was like a time when it was normal to go to the gym. So like I would just be up, I'd take a shower. I'd do anything to distract myself. I would watch TV shows or movies, none of which were even moderately enjoyable because I just wanted to sleep. And then at like 6 or 7 in the morning, I would go to the gym and I'd work out for 2 hours, you know? But yeah, like, and then it just, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I got 3 hours of sleep last night. Oh, I got 4 hours of sleep last night. Oh, now I'm starting to kind of sleep. And then, you know, you get everything back in order and, you know, and you rock and roll. It's like, I don't know. We were just listening. I was listening to this thing about the, opioid epidemic earlier today and how backwards things were. We're like, it was crazy. They had like, these medical groups where if someone came in and they were actively I won't do it justice. I won't even talk about it. I won't even do it justice, but it was like, it was so commonplace to just shove more of those things into people's, you know, body. But Thomas Curina, thank you very much for the $50. Yeah, I'm sorry it didn't let me type as many words I wanted it to. It was the worst experience of my life ever. Sick for weeks. Felt like, plus I was eating Xanax all the time too. And yes, that is my clean date over 10 years. Hopeful, not grateful. Yeah, dude. Thank you very much for the $50. So I am very, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. Like I just, Xanax and those kind of things don't agree with me at all. But I know if you're on multiple different types of pills or whatever, which is not uncommon at all, it makes it even, you know, it makes it a lot rougher. It's like, you know, and I would say the only, like, you know, cause I've had an Adderall prescription since I was 14 years old for ADD. But I've never had any issue like, you know, if I take medication for a week and then I don't take it for 3 weeks, that was never an issue for me at all with Adderall. But dude, with the opioids, I just can't do it, dude. I can't do it. It's like, they were literally created as a perfect puzzle piece for my biology. It's like I take one and I'm like, oh, this is what I want to feel like forever. That's why I can't ever do it. Like I can't take them, dude. It's the most inevitable outcome there will ever be. It's like, just bottom line, I'm an opioid addict, period. So I can't take them. You just cannot do it. And I agree with this though, dude. This is insane. I cannot understand how they do that. Like I think that before parents, I just think that like parents should at least try that first. Like if they just so they at least understand what they're giving to the kid, because I would imagine people who have experience with it would be much more apprehensive about, like giving it to a kid would be my guess. J-Bones, thank you very much, sir. I would get sick on my last couple of pills, and if I went 1 week, 2 or 3, I was hurting bad the whole time. Thank God for the subs, which I slowly weaned off over 5 years, 7 years, totally clean. Congrats, man. That's hard. But yeah, I mean, dude, you slow wean for 5 years. That's seriously what it takes. I talked to someone. The reason why I actually did this live stream is because I was talking to someone about this through email today. And I was like, dude, I end up talking to these guys about this stuff all the time. So I may as well just talk about it. But like, he's trapped in a, the same thing I was just talking about before, where it's like, he probably feels like it's too much to cold turkey. And he was asking about, Suboxone. And I'm obviously the answer to any of this stuff is always talk to a doctor. That's your answer. Okay. I'm not giving anyone advice about anything. That's definitely not, that's not what we're here doing. Matter of fact, I actually don't know if I even want to comment on that. But I will just say I took Suboxone and weaned off over a very long time also. I've heard stories about thank you for the super chat, by the way. I heard stories about like I know 3 people who have told me that they were on Suboxone and then they got arrested and they got some kind of, jail sentence or whatever. And while they were inside, I don't know if they like didn't have a prescription for the Suboxone or if they couldn't get it inside or whatever, but they were forced to cold turkey off Suboxone, and they said that the withdrawal lasted for months, which is I can't even wrap my brain around that. I literally can't even wrap my brain around it. Yeah, it's funny. Suboxone saved my life. I'd be dead without him. That's the thing. Like, again, it's just the kind of thing that you should talk to your doctor about. But it's just from anecdotally, what I've heard is that it's much more challenging to get off of Suboxone than other things because cold turkey doesn't really seem to be an option. But again, I'm not giving anyone medical advice. Talk to a doctor. J-Bones, thank you very much. I thought I was going to be trapped too in maintenance. You get sicker when you don't take those things. I tried to stop cold turkey, but I slowly did it. Congrats, YouTube. Dude, the discipline it takes to do that, though, is impressive. You just need to work you just need to work with a doctor. Just say, I want to get off this. Can you put me on a program, to wean down? I mean, it's at least what I've heard is the best way to do it. But yeah, dude, I mean, like the Bam Margera thing, like what I'm saying, you honestly look at that situation. You're like, dude, look, he's on tour with him, like he's on tour with him. And, and he's like, look, man, this can be your life if you get sober. And he can't even stay sober for a night when he's got his kid in town. That's the thing too about, in my experience with people who get that deep in that kind of thing, they're like things like that should be like fundamental what's the right word? Motivators, right? Your kid, like you don't have custody of your kid. Your kid is in town for 2 days. That should be a strong enough motivator for you to keep it together for 2 days so you can spend time with the kid, show them a good time, and more than anything, like make a good impression on them. It's your kid. It's your son. Like, it's your son. He's going to look at you and be making all kinds of, I don't know, impressions about the world and what it means to be an adult, whether good, bad, or the other. If you have even a little bit of self-awareness, you have to know that, especially if you're absent in the kid's life and he's only going to be with you for a couple days. That means your behavior over those 2 days is absolutely crucial, dude. Crucial. Every kid is obsessed with their parents. Even if the dad's not there, the kid growing up is thinking about their dad, like thinking about, like, I wonder who my dad is. I wonder what my dad's doing. Like, I wonder what he is. Even if they have no idea. And if the dad's not there, it's like, I wonder why he's not here, etc. And then, it's just one of those things, and they can deny it all they want. Gabrielle's dad, like, in the mob, and was in jail her entire life. And, if I brought her up here and I was like, Gabrielle, so I think that you're much more concerned about kind of your dad than you lead on. She'd be all, I don't know. She'd be like, he could die tomorrow. I wouldn't care. Like, and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, all right. The first night that we hung out, she Googled him and showed him to me. Very first night. I'm like, he's so not important that somehow we ended up talking about him, the very first night that we hung out. Derek Roy, how much sub was I on and for how long? I don't want to talk about that on the channel just because I am trying to stay away from medical stuff, but email me and we can talk about it. Thomas Q, thank you for the super chat. Thomas Curina, thank you for the super chat. Same. I remember the first one ever when I got a tooth pulled. Now I can't even imagine going through that hell again. If you don't know, you have no idea. Yeah. And I personally think that it's good when people go through horrifying withdrawal. At least just because I think that, like, if you take any kind of shortcut, then you don't take it as seriously. It's like you go through that to get off. It's so traumatizing that is an enormous motivator not to use. She's like, yeah, I know that this sounds like this will be really fun. Like, I'll feel really good, but the fear of having to go through that is not worth whatever short-term benefit that I'll get on this thing. But Jesus. You're on timeout, guy. I'll block you if you come back with that idiotic stuff. 2006 Christmas Vacation. But like, my hand is in the jiu-jitsu tournament. I just sprained my thumb. But yeah, like, so with the kid, I don't know, dude. Like, you're their dad, bro. Are you? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. To me, that, like, to have your kid in town for 2 days and you can't keep it together for 2 days. I mean, that's a level of, like, there's nothing bringing this guy back that that should be stronger than money. Like, that should be stronger than money and success. Is like, dude, keep it together for 2 days. Your son is here. I think it's a son, right? Hang on. Yeah, his son. 5-year-old son, dude. 5-year-old son. Because you got to think to yourself, if my son sees me do this at age 5, you could burn that into, like, even if you hate yourself and everything that you've become, like Bam Margera, maybe he hates the version. I mean, I would assume he hates the version of himself that is now. But, like, even if you have no respect for yourself or, like, whatever, and you're kind of just like, whatever, I'll just drink until I die. anyone would have the self-awareness to know that if they put that image in front of their kid, they're increasing the likelihood that their son turns into them by 50, you know? Like you actually put, like, kids are so impressionable, dude. 5 years old, they're sponges. And you show them like Daddy the train wreck, and like, I mean, what kind of person would be indifferent to passing on the worst traits in themselves onto their kids when all you had to do is just not get blacked out drunk all night long for 2 days? You know what I mean? Oh, Bam's fine. Steve-O says different guy. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Bam Margera, the jackass tool. Have you guys seen what he looks like now? Jesus, man. Look at this. Look at what Bam Margera looks like. He was pronounced dead after suffering 5 seizures, pneumonia in December. That was he was on a ventilator, actually. And from pneumonia, from exactly what, from you know what. See? He had to be put on a ventilator, was unable to breathe on his own after contracting pneumonia. I was pronounced dead on December 8th. I did not know that I had a gnarly case of the virus. Body was shutting down, went into 4 seizures, one lasting 10 to 20 minutes. A 20-minute seizure? Not that he's necessarily like the most credible source of information, but he nearly bit his tongue off. Went to the hospital, had my 5th seizure, couldn't breathe, with a tube down my throat. Woke up 5 days later, think I was there for just a couple hours. Spent 8 days there. Man. Oh yeah, dude. Steve-O recalled reading this and on the event and assuming he was gonna die. Oh yeah, I would have thought he was gonna die for sure. Because once someone's on a vent for any reason, the likelihood of a good outcome is not super high. But hang on. Look at him, dude. And this is him like this. I remember this interview. This is him like kind of with his like shit together too. Versus, I mean, jeez, man. I mean, I don't know how old you guys are. I don't know how old you guys are, but like, if you're, anywhere near my age to where the original Jackass crew or like Viva La Bam and all that stuff was something that you potentially watched, it's crazy how, I don't know. Like Bam was crazy, but he was one of the guys who kind of had his shit together in terms of like he was an entrepreneurial one who was like producing his own shows and he was doing all kinds of, CKY. Like he was like, I mean, I don't know. Like if you had to, if you like froze time right then and you were like, okay, one of these guys on the crew is going to be dead from drunk driving, which is done. That would have been a good bet on Bam. Like dead from drunk driving, that's a good bet. But like is going to be 260 pounds of blubber fat, in and out of facilities, spend all of his money. Like people are begging him to get sober and he can't do it. Anyone would have bet on Steve-O. They wouldn't have bet on Bam. And it's the opposite, But yeah. But that said, speaking of the dad thing, man, Like, what would you remember? Like, what Bam's signature thing was? For those of you guys who don't know, like Bam used to he used to roll in on his dad and just beat his ass. Like he used to prank his dad so hard, dude. Like he would go in and just start slapping his dad 1,000 times, like as hard as he could. I would show it to you guys, but I don't want to, they'll probably copyright it or something. But he would run it and literally he would just slap his dad in the face and the body like over and 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 over. Like, and it was like funny at the time, but now, as like a grown up with kids, I mean, now I can see like, dude, if my son did that to me, I would, he would never fucking do it. He would never, ever do it. All the stuff that Bam did with his dad that it was like funny for the show. It's like, dude, a kid needs a strong father in the house. Like, honestly, that's just is what it is. Now, can a person turn out well without that? Of course. Gabrielle, like I said, had no dad growing up, and she's incredible. One of the most responsible, reliable people in the world. She knows how to fix all kinds of shit because she never had a dad to like help. But like most of the time, people come out of that, with. I think I've heard Obama say the likelihood of a kid going to prison at some point is 20-fold if there's not a father in the house, statistically. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But so like if your dad is like a dude that you can just slap the shit out of 1,000 times and he'll just accept that, or you could like pour piss on him while he's sleeping. I mean, that's not a strong, male role model, like just giving a kid, like telling a kid, all right, Mr. Pibb, you're out, dude. You wanted my attention. You got it. You're blocked. Bye. So like letting a kid do whatever they want like that is weird, man. Like I don't know. It just makes no sense to me. But like a lot of times they're like my mom, I don't want to say publicly who it is, but like my mom has a friend who's like a really well-known like artist, like kind of like he's in the arts and he's nuts. Like he's crazy. I think he's hilarious just because he's so like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, like if like a waitress rolled up on you and like you ever have like someone who's like, good God, who dressed you? Your 10-year-old daughter? But like they pull it off in a way where it's like hilarious. And also the person doesn't necessarily get, super offended. That's this guy. And he's like a brilliant, world famous, person in his own kind of art field or whatever. And she told me that like growing up, he literally was never told like he could do whatever he wanted, like literally anything he wanted. Like if he didn't want to eat his hamburger, he was allowed to like throw it up and it'd stick on the ceiling. And he'd just be like, I don't want it. And he came out the way that he did, which was really successful. But I think that is obviously an extraordinarily rare case. You know what I mean? Steve-O's voice is the most annoying thing on earth, but I like the guy. He's crazy. I totally agree with both of those things. And thank you very much for the super chat. Good sir. And I saw someone ask, yes, I was on Suboxone for a while, but I've been off for years. But probably be on pain management for the rest of my life. Thank God for. Well, the thing about, so we use Suboxone for pain management. I mean, obviously it's, yeah. I mean, I talk to a doctor. Steve-O and Chael did? Interesting. I was just talking to Chael an hour ago about YouTube stuff. Chael's good people, dude. He's a good dude, man. I mean, listen, dude, like just any other thing, Suboxone, I've heard people say that it saved their life. And I've heard other people say that they really want it off. I personally want it off because, you know, like, so basically, like Suboxone, the way it works, as I understand it, is it binds to your opioid receptors and then also has something in it that blocks opioids from working. So like if you took Vicodin, like it wouldn't work. Or if you took Oxy, it wouldn't work. Right. And I don't really understand the exact mechanism of how it works, but how I think it works in me is it blocks opioid from working because it blocks the part of the brain, the pleasure part of the brain. Like, cause that's what opioids do, is it like hits the pleasure part of the brain and it just, you know, and it's like, which is why you could be, you know, neck deep in trash in a dumpster and you're like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. I love it. It's like, dude, your wife left you. Your kid got hit by a car. You got fired from your job 2 years ago. You haven't eaten a meal that you paid for in 6 months. You don't have a friend in the world. If I told you call a friend, you couldn't call anyone. What do you have to be happy about? What? Sorry, I didn't hear you. I was having the best day of my life, you know? And I think that Suboxone maybe blocks that entire mechanism from working, because I could just never feel excited about anything. I could never feel like, like I never had a moment where I was like, man, I'm having a great time. It was just this like blah all the time. Always just like blah. I wasn't excited. I wasn't whatever. And I'm obviously, Jesse on fire doesn't like to not be excited about things, you know? But yeah, so I got off of them over a very long period of time. Took me 10 months, 10 months to wean. Again, I'm not in a position to advise people on anything, but in my opinion, alcohol is the worst. Just in terms of like, I don't know, what's the right way to put this? Like, well, obviously, like fentanyl is the worst. I was going to say, like, in terms of like danger that it poses to you, like there's lots of things that probably pose a much bigger risk of you like overdosing and dying. But in terms of, I might do something that I wouldn't do otherwise, I think alcohol is the worst of all of them. You know, where like you drink enough and your meat suit is still going around doing things. And the next day someone could be like, bro, do you understand that you blah, blah, blah? And you're like, that's impossible. And it's like, no, dude, it's not. You did it. Here's the video. And you're like, it's crazy. Gary James, thank you very much for the super chat. John Castelloni, sorry. Thank you for the super chat. What's up, Jesse? Sorry that happened to the second channel. At least your wife is still a smoke show. Yeah. Thank you very much, dude. It's all good, dude. Honestly, totally straight. The reason why I'm not broken up about it at all is because I had no idea the two channels were connected like that. I really didn't. I never would have had that channel. I never would have had it if I knew that. So like I learned that yesterday and it was like, like that needs to be on Gumble. Cause like I had no idea. I had no idea until yesterday. I literally just didn't even know. But anyways, thank you for the super chat. So yeah, like with booze. So I watched, I talked about this on a live stream recently too. So JCS, the JCS, I think, in one of Guru's battle videos, he was imitating JCS. But like JCS is like it's like this monotone voice guy who goes over who goes over like interrogation videos and talks about the cases, whatever. And there was one. Wait, wait a minute. Was that a JCS? It might have been on JCS. I think this was on JCS's Patreon, but it's not on there. I don't think it's on JCS's YouTube. Either that or I'm confusing it with something else. Either way, the case was, I'm pretty sure it's on JCS's Patreon. If you guys love JCS, Patreon literally has like no joke, probably 35 or 40 episodes that you've never seen. Like when I joined their Patreon and I started looking, I was like, like I would wait months. Like, they JCS new one every like 6 months. And the second it came out, I would just boom. And then all of a sudden I had like 30 episodes I'd never seen. I still haven't even watched all of them. But anyway, so this guy, like the case that I was watching was about this guy who was getting interrogated. And he was getting interrogated because he had gotten into like some kind of altercation with his girlfriend the night before, who was like a college lacrosse player. And he had killed her. He had killed her and he didn't know. Like he had no idea. And he was so oblivious to what had happened that it's almost like he never talked to a lawyer, nothing. Like he thought that he had been called in there because like he broke a window or something. He had no idea that he had actually killed his girl the night before. And he's like this like big oafy, dum-ba-dum-dum, he's like a nice guy. He's all, no, like, because he had just found out the night before that she fucked another guy. Like he found out that he found out that she's his kind of like I think it's his girlfriend. Actually, it was either his girlfriend or like kind of on and off girlfriend. And he found out that she had fucked another dude, and he went over. He's all, I just went over because I wanted to talk to her. He's like, and like she wouldn't. Like I just went there to like talk, and like she wasn't letting me talk, and I was like so upset. But like, and then so they're like asking him all these questions about how they physically interacted with each other. And because he didn't remember that he had hit her or anything like that, he's just like answering these questions that are like, that are going to end up, leading to life in prison. Well, I think he got 20 years or something like that. I'm pretty sure he got 20 years. But and yeah, he just completely hung himself. They talked for 45 minutes and he just answered every single question. And then they were like, hey, dude, she's dead. He was like, what? And they're like, she's dead. She died. He's like, that's impossible. They're all, no, she's dead. He's all, when I left her, she was whatever. And you could just see he did not remember at all. Like then when you go back over all the things he said, like he didn't remember anything. He literally did not remember. He didn't remember a single thing. And so he remembered like, what that's like. Like if you've ever blacked out when you're in college or whatever, or fuck, maybe you guys blacked out last night, but you get like flashes of things, where someone's like, dude, do you remember blah? And you have like a flash memory, but you're like, oh, I think I remember being there. He just like, all he remembered was that he was upset. And he went there. He didn't remember anything. He killed her, dude. He killed her and didn't remember it. And it's like, oh, wait, Slowy, you've seen it? Oops, wait, what happened? Slowy, you've seen this? You've seen the one that I'm talking about? It's like, it's not, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, look up, wait, hang on. Yearly, let me see. Huh? I don't know. Let me see. Oh, Yeardley's. Hang on. Yes. Wait. And they love called unresponsive. Dated over 2 years. Charlotte. Yeah, yeah. This. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Yearly love. Exactly. Yeah. Crazy, dude. Crazy. Didn't remember. Didn't remember. Bam. Here, I'll show you. No, the specific thing going on with him though is, well, first of all, a month ago he was on a ventilator. Uh, he got pneumonia from the virus and got put on a ventilator, and almost, I guess he got like he had seizures and he almost died multiple times. And then he got out, and then Steve-O took him. Steve-O took him to. Hang on, let me pull this up again. Here, so basically, this is what the story. This is like. Basically, Steve-O put this thing up on Instagram that he's like, dude, I mean, the gist, because we've already gone over it. I've tried everything I can, but I can't force you to be honest and work. I just have to brace for news of your death because I have no other choice. You're dying, and it sucks. I can't do anything to save you. And he's talking about he brought Bam on tour, and Bam's son was there for 2 days, and Bam got completely blacked out all night long, ruined the time with his son, posted some insane stuff on the internet, and that's what it is. Dude, I feel like I kind of sound like Steve-O right now because I've, my sinuses are jammed.
And I told him, Bam, your son is here, man. We gave him every opportunity to stay on the Jackass production, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it, man. We were rooting for him.
How's that? How's that, Steve-O? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 the worst ever, 10 the best ever.
I want you guys to meet my best friend. His name's Unique. Listen, I think that Xanax is my favorite thing in the world because it makes my stream so fun.
Thomas Mendez, thank you very much, sir. Thomas Mendez just won a pair of Jordans, you guys. How about that? Thomas Mendez won a pair of J's, son. Congratulations, Thomas Mendez. Those are getting out shortly. April 4th will be 7 years clean. I read Nikki Sixx's book while in rehab from opiate addiction. Crazy times, but grateful for day. Bro, Nikki Sixx got thrown in a trash can. Thank you for the super chat, Doug. He got thrown in a trash can. The people he was doing H with thought he was dead, and they threw him in a trash can. He woke up in a trash can. They had dumped his body. They had dumped his body. And then he just got high again. What option does he have? Here, dude, you can either get high again or you can go through hell on earth, withdrawal. It's like, I think I'm going to get high again. How you like them Jordans? But yeah, like can't remember which book. I don't think I read Nick. Is it The Dirt? Is Nikki Sixx's book The Dirt? I can't remember if that, because I definitely read that, but I can't remember what book that is. Yes, Bam is dying. He's going to die, dude. For sure he's going to die. It's in the dirt. Yeah. Nikki Sixx is rich. Who cares what he went through? I mean, yeah, he's in probably one of the top, the top successful touring rock bands of all time. Like I went and saw Motley Crue live in like 20, I don't know, 2012 or something like that. And it was such a sick ass show. Bro, they were big in the 80s. They were big in the 80s. I saw them in 2012 and it was a massive show. And I know they have done a bunch of tours since then. And like, if you're sober, you can do a half decent job, maintaining your money. But no, it's dude with him, like Nikki Sixx is not being like, have you guys ever seen Nikki Sixx talk in an interview? He wasn't writing it like, oh my God, I went through stuff. He like laughs. He's all, bro. He's like, I was such an addict that like, I was dead. These guys had dumped my body in the dumpster. Like he's not like a boo-hoo. Oh gosh. My daddy hurt me. And then I started doing heroin because of him. Shut up. Okay. Everybody has a reason that they do whatever. None of that. I have never personally understood the exercise of like, oh, I got my hands taped together when I was 3 and that's why blah, blah, blah. It's like the only reason that that's a good exercise to do is if it's going to help you like do something positive going forward. Finding a reason to excuse your bad behavior based on something that happened to you before, that's nonsense to me. It's just nonsense to me. I don't understand it at all. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't compute. It's like if you can uncover reasons for something and that's why you're triggered by this, which makes you go do this. And I'm not talking about triggered like a college student talks about. I'm talking triggered to do bad behavior. Then that makes sense from a therapy perspective. But I think that in my experience, listening to a lot of therapized people, the way it sounds to me is, oh, I found a way to rationalize my bad behavior because of something that happened to me before, which somehow alleviates the responsibility from me. And it's like, no. I mean, no. I think that Bam is genetically disposed to alcohol abuse. I think that he was never given a single rule his entire life. I think that gives him the kind of base personality that he had. And then he got world famous in his early 20s. I've said this a million times about myself. Like, you know what? Forget about myself. I'll say this just in general about fame. So you know how I don't know if you guys have ever heard someone say this, but I certainly believe that this is accurate, where they'll say that a person's maturity gets it hits its ceiling as soon as they become like a serious drug addict. So like if they became an addict when they were 17 and then they're 33 and then they get clean, like they honestly, they have like the brain of a 17-year-old or like the personality of a 17-year-old. I mean, actually sober or clean, it doesn't really matter. It's like, but like they stop development at that age if they have a really serious drug problem. So I in my experience, looking at people, that has definitely been the case. And the other thing that I think stunts your growth and development is fame. If you get it too early, like I think like people who get really, really famous when they're late teenagers or I mean, we all obviously know what happens to child stars, but like I'm talking even you get famous when you're 22. Like there's a vast difference between a 22-year-old and a 36-year-old who's gone through regular life. And if they got famous when they're 22, they are stuck at 22, dude. Like they're stuck at 22 permanently. And it's like you don't, I don't know, dude. I don't know exactly what the like exact kind of mechanism of how it works is, but I do know this. If people think that they're a special, like if they like if they really believe that they're a special, that's never good, dude. That's why I think it's like, the best case is, get famous when you're old enough to realize like you're not special, dude. Like you just happen to have a job that puts your face in front of people, and like a person like Bam, who had no rules whatsoever, who got, who literally could do whatever he wanted growing up. And then he got a shitload of money and fame. He's probably banging 1,000 girls. He goes out on the road and every guy wants to hang out with him. Every chick wants to bang him. He doesn't have to do anything. Like that's the whole point. That's the whole point about why fame stunts you is like I like who I am. I like the version of myself that you see now. And so much of it was developed around like learning lessons the hard way, like saying stupid shit and then being embarrassed about it later, like being like, Jesus, what the fuck was I doing? Like, why was I talking so much in front of that fucking guy? And having to like let it just eat you alive. Like you do dumb shit, you embarrass yourself, or you do something and then, you have a terrible outcome. And then you have to live with that and you have to marinate on it. You're like, God, man, like what the fuck was I doing? And then you don't do that again. You actually think about why it was a stupid thing that you did. And then you don't do it again. And like famous people, rich people, they don't have to face those consequences. It's like something happens as same exact thing, right? It's like, so the incident I was referencing, there was one of those like just things that I default to where I was like, man, what was I doing? Like when I was like probably, I don't know, 27 or something. And I don't know, I had a very high opinion of myself. And I ended up sitting at this table with a couple of friends that I knew a little bit, but not like super well, but I knew that their family was like really a big deal. And I'm sitting there with those two and their dad, who like owned like a basketball team. I'm pretty sure he owned the Suns. Like, and my way of kind of being like, oh, like I don't know what the fuck I was doing, dude. The next day, I was thinking about how that I was like, dude, I talked 80% of the time in front of this fucking guy. And I just, like, I couldn't shake it off. I was like, why would I have thought that like that was a good way to handle that fucking situation? So dumb. Like just so fucking dumb. Cause I could tell that like their dad was just kind of like, who the fuck is this kid? And I just remember being like, and from then on, it was kind of like, all right, sit down at a table, assess who people are, and like start taking more of a back seat, as opposed to like trying to kick the door in all the time. Just like dumb shit like that. It's like, and in that exact same situation, like if you're like a fucking 22-year-old superstar, you go down, you have an interaction with some billionaire and where you should be fucking embarrassed, dude. Like you should have been embarrassed. And they get to just go, fuck that old man. Like, fuck that guy, like that's instead of like self-reflection, they just get to go, fuck that guy, because everyone kisses their ass no matter what. It's like, if everybody kisses your ass no matter what, then like, how are you ever going to realize that you're a fucking idiot? You know what I mean? Everybody's an idiot. Everybody's an idiot. You learn to not be an idiot. How are you going to learn to not be an idiot if you never have to reflect on the dumb shit that you did because everyone's all, oh my God, dude, you are so, oh God, I love hanging out with you. Love your cars. When's your next album coming out? You're so fucking cool. You know what I mean? Bingo. This exactly what my point was about the money and being sober. If you made an extra 200 grand over the last, it would have only allowed you to do 200 grand more with the drugs. That's right. And drugs, you know, people who are on drugs, it's like a natural, you know, makes you like the whole kind of thing of drugs is like, oh, I'm going to feel really good in the short term, knowing I'm going to feel like shit afterwards. And so that mindset is not save money for later. Like if you translate that into finances, it's like, I'm going to spend, like, I want this thing right now. And you spend it and, you know, I'll worry about whether I have money later. Dude, I'm so excited to go train today. I have jiu-jitsu in a little while. We were snowed in all week. I haven't trained all week. So we have a special class at 5:30 that I'm going to go. It's going to be awesome. Giselle just texted me. Can you grow me a YouTube channel? I mean, we tried that, but they kicked her off because little kids are not allowed to have YouTube channels. Giselle, come here. Thank you very much, sir.
Hi.
Come here.
Hi.
Come here.
You right here for safety purposes.
No, come here.
Here you come.
Tell the people why you want a YouTube channel.
To do tutorials on everything.
Tutorials on everything.
Like cooking.
No, really. Why?
Because I want a YouTube channel.
I know, but why? What do you want to do it on?
Huh?
What do you want to do it about?
Everything.
That's not going to work.
Why?
You have to have a niche.
Tutorials.
On what?
Everything.
What do you know how to do better than everybody?
Build a fort. Cook chicken soup.
Nonsense.
Make slime. Yes. Yes.
Playing with slime?
Making. And then. Oh yeah, I forgot. How to like use clips that.
How to use Clips, the app?
Yes.
So why won't you make me a channel? I'm like, because you don't have a good idea for a channel.
What should I do, sir?
You need to think of it.
Ma'am.
Yeah, you should do tutorials on how to armbar people.
Ma'am.
You could get at least 2 videos on that.
Ma'am. No, ma'am.
And look, they said, hype her up. Don't put her down. It's not putting her down.
Anyways.
That is refining her idea.
Okay, that's enough. Get back to me. Anyways.
See, does she look? She looks like that's the kind of parenting she needs. Giselle, you're going to be great at anything you do. You'll be great, Giselle.
That's enough of this person. Back to me, guys. So
Yeah,
about my amazing YouTube channel. It's gonna be amazing.
dude, we got like, so Giselle, she actually did have a YouTube channel for like I don't know. Yeah, and you got 1,000 subscribers, right? She got 1,000 subscribers in 3 days.
They banned me.
And then they banned her because you're like, kids are not allowed to run their own YouTube channels because of all the really nice people in the world that love children. You know, all the guys who love children and want to DM them such. All right, beat it. I love you. Go think of something good to do.
Did.
Talk to your mom. She'll teach you something. She got to 1K because I was like, hey, go follow my daughter.
Oh yeah.
What you should do is you should just do what I do, which is just talk.
Ooh. Movies. I remember. I'll do.
So, like in your case,
reviews. I'll do movie reviews.
That might be kind of funny, actually.
Uh-huh.
Hey, what movie are we watching right now?
Megan. She's like.
Have you guys seen Megan?
This is Megan singing.
Don't. No.
Yes, it is.
Okay, beat it. Enough's enough.
I would do movie tutorials.
We're losing people. You got to go.
Making a channel.
Okay, bye.
Now. Sorry.
Bam is Giselle. I got to tell them something that you can't get out of here.
Wait, can I just like tell download YouTube and create my own
You're not reading the room, dude. Beat it.
Can I just download YouTube and create my own YouTube channel?
Sure, it'll get banned. Bye.
Okay.
Jesus.
Yes,
Close the door. But yeah, so like Guru the Pig, thank you very much. Thoughts on Mark Zuckerberg bringing VR to the UFC and watching the fights inside the octagon? When will we see that? Dude, I'm telling you, that is going to be the most incredible thing ever. I cannot wait, dude. Knowing what it's like to watch sports in VR, if they were charging $300, if they charged $300 to watch the UFC in VR, I would pay it in a heartbeat. A heartbeat, dude. 2 seconds. It's going to be awesome. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, you know what though? Since we're on this topic, you guys heard this here first. As soon as Avatar 2 has had its run in the theater, I bet you that they are keeping a very tight secret in the group, which is that you're going to be it's going to be the first VR movie where like you're going to be able to watch it in VR, not like on like if you ever watched a movie in VR, the VR portion is that you're on this like VR couch and you're watching a screen. It's still pretty fucking cool, dude. But you're going to be in the movie. Like it's going to be VR in the movie. God, I hate when people do this, dude. Once you use Google before you start saying idiotic shit like this, you fucking idiot. Yeah, literally. Bam Margera, first thing comes up. Steve-O says Bam Margera is going to die. It's like, oh, that's hard.
That would have been hard to use Google. I'm just gonna. It's just clickbait, dude. It's clickbait. It's clickbait, dude.
Google, dummy. Yeah, Bam has never been fine, dude. Here again, this is what happened with Bam. I like listen, guys. In all seriousness, as polite as I could say this, when you come into a stream that is 1 hour in progress, and then you're like, hey, man, what's up with the title? The polite thing to do is just go to the beginning of the stream and watch it, because obviously we've talked about it by now. It's an hour and 12 minutes into a stream. But one last time, okay, Bam was in the hospital. He was on a ventilator. He almost died of pneumonia. He got out of the hospital. Steve-O, and he got the virus and then got pneumonia and then was on a ventilator. He almost died, multiple seizures. Now, obviously, the reason why the virus got him this bad most likely is because he's so run down from whatever he's been doing. So Steve-O took him on the road to try to be like, dude, you're going to die. Took him on the road and took him on the road to show him what was possible. You know, like, look, dude, if you get sober, this is your life. And his kid was with him, and then he just got completely blacked out and just ruined the entire thing. And so Steve-O put this post up that says, I am just bracing for when you're going to die, because you're going to die. Thank you for the super chat, Holden. This is easy. Shab, 1,000%. Shab's my boy, dude. A quick Google search shows that opioids are synthetic. Don't come at me because you're unable to do simple research. I mean, they're not all the same. Fentanyl synthetic, but like morphine and all those are milk of the poppy. Milk of the poppy. Dude, he's been off for 15 years. Isn't that bananas? Correct. Right. Opioids cover all. So opiates are milk of the poppy. You know, they still, dude, like still this day, you go, like if you go look at, they have like fields and fields and fields and fields of those poppies, and then they go and they like scrape that like tar stuff off of them. Yeah, I wish that I liked smoking weed, but I don't. I just don't, dude. I just don't, dog. I just don't. I just don't. Hang on. Thank you for retelling the. Hang on. Where did I miss this? I don't know. I missed something up here, but whatever. Yeah, no, not all opiates are synthetic. Some opioids are synthetic. Fentanyl synthetic. I mean, all of them go through like a processing process, obviously, but like a lot of them, they literally just have like fields and fields of poppies, and they have people who go and they like scrape this gum off of them. They literally have like a can, and they just scrape this gum off with like a knife and just go into this thing to just, it's like, that's all they're after is that like syrup. They cut into it and they like pull this gunk out of it. Guru the Pig, thank you very much. What would be better in VR, UFC or NHL? You think we'll be able to hear every single round or every single sound? NFL talk trash would be second. UFC will be better, in my opinion, just because it's like right there. They're literally going to, I mean, they're literally going to put you right at the top of the cage, and you're going to be watching as if you're there. It's going to be unreal. It's going to be absolutely unreal. NFL will be cool. NFL will be really cool, dude. Because like when they really get the technology down, what they're going to do is they'll have, because like if you've ever watched like the sports demonstration, they got like I saw one where they had a Warriors game, and you got to alternate between these 5 different positions, and basically like, okay, another time, guys, if you're an hour and 20 minutes into a live stream and you ask about the title, go back to the beginning. We've all already talked about it 10 times. But like you could be like at half court on the front. You could be in the corner. You could be up right where you're basically like sitting on the hoop. Like you're like hovering in midair. And so like, with the NFL, I guarantee they will have a seat where you are literally like hovering, you know, cause they have those cameras that are on the cables. I bet you that they are going to do, they'll have one where you hover on top of the game. Like, so you're like hovering in midair, looking down at it or whatever. It's gonna be sick, dude. It's gonna be super sick. All right. I am going to beat the streak because I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes. Love you guys. Peace.